Alrighty.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yay.
Here we go.
Has a little bit of a lag sometimes, doesn't it? When you
It's not as much of a lag as it used to be. It used to be about 20 seconds. Welcome, everybody.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Welcome to Love Speaks Love. I'm Denise, your host, and my beautiful guest today is Nicola Russell. Welcome, sweetheart.
Hi, it's so lovely inviting me on today. I really appreciate it. It's just sort of so meant to be. I was just saying before we came on that you've got this wonderful post that you put up with your blue picture, and I commented on it last night, and then you then messaged me at the same time. So it was all meant to be.
And you were saying in that comment, it's been ages since we've connected, and that was exactly what I was connecting with you for.
Yeah. Amazing.
Okay, so I'm just going to double check all is well here.
Yeah, and I'll share it as well. I've got my sound off so we don't get any
yeah, I remember that too.
Let's just do that.
See, I might be able to tag you.
Oh yeah, here we are. Okay, I can do share that. I'll share it to my story and then out to a group. There we go. Amazing. Lovely.
All right, just share it to a couple of pages.
Share it there. How exciting.
Are you still doing your chats?
You know what, it was really funny because I had a big sort of burst of doing masses of different sort of conversations, and which was the last time we spoke, and then it's sort of like I was really guided just to sort of go more sort of sort of individual, to sort of get my own sort of confidence up without having somebody there speaking to them. And I was sort of doing quite a lot on my YouTube as well, and it sort of had this sort of like that sort of phase really. And now I've been really sort of coming back online of I need to do more of those. So I have been doing a few recently, and then sort of connecting with you today. So it comes in waves, doesn't it, and cycles, but deeper connections I feel actually this time round. Yeah.
Okay, so people are starting to gather. So I normally start with a bit of a heart-to-heart connect. So that's what we'll do. And if at the end of this, I'll pass over to you if there's anything you want to add, feel free. No pressure if nothing drops in, but it's
Sure.
I'll try and remember. I've not done it that many times, so okay. So let us all bring our awareness to our heart space in the center of our chest. And let us all breathe in love to our beautiful, beautiful hearts. And let us breathe out anything of the day so far, or the day ahead, or the week. Anything that might be stopping you from being in this now moment. And as we breathe in love, we're breathing that love into every cell of our bodies, to all the spaces between, to all the fluids in our bodies, to all the bones, the muscles, all of the organs, even to our hair. And just feeling your body relaxing as you breathe in love and breathe out anything that you're ready to let go of. And extending that heart awareness out now to connect all of our hearts together. And although they are already connected, just bringing that to our awareness just cements that connection between us all. And extending our heart awareness out now to the heart of Gaia. So feeling all of us being held within the diamond heart of Gaia. And feeling Gaia's love for all of us and her gratitude and her recognition of all of us, all that we do and all that we are. And feeling such a lot of compassion and joy from the heart of Gaia.
Mm.
And there just feels like there's this real understanding, this kind of nurturing. It feels like we're kind of teenagers going through adolescence at the moment. And she's just like, I know. And extending that heart awareness out to the heart of the sun, to the beautiful solar logos. And I always feel when I connect with this sun that the sun's energy is coming in via my solar plexus. And I forget to do this in winter, but it always feels beneficial to do this in winter so that we're absorbing the sun's energy, even though we may not be seeing that many hours of daylight or sunlight. And feeling those beautiful solar codes going into our bodies, into our hearts, into every cell of our body. And extending that heart awareness out to the heart of Source Creator. And feeling Source energy moving into our bodies. You might feel it going in through your crown, you might feel it going in through your heart, or all of the above. And I'm kind of feeling now Gaia's energy moving up through my feet as well. So it feels down this spinal column, this beautiful column of light that we have down our center. And the source energy is moving down as Gaia's energy is moving up. Filling us with beautiful love and light. So Nicola, is there anything that you wish to chip in with at this stage?
I have just a few little codes that might be welcomed by all.
Beautiful.
Okay, thank you. Chiama amosues, sant addition chiama awisumakia. Ila chiamba ko kampukuya shani siatorisha. Chiambuku kampuku kawisiane sisikyubukamuku rasha. Ila chiamba koyana kiatana shari kiatonamasha. So yes, indeed, that connection is so important, to know that we are everything and to embrace that into oneness. Da sisikimakiatana.
Feeling some codes as well. Kaat ornakia paralant arnapura tekia arnaku unat at ora ka arnakite paratikite arnaku nikia totun kulla karanakite aratukut ornakata kelekishtaran tonot ornatan kulla kiarn leer nokoran babala kiantolle kiat kelekiat ornakia lad ut aran kulla kiaran nai wisht aratakata
Beautiful, thank you.
Thank you.
We just sit here with that. That's it. That's it. What's all we getting? It's all.
I feel like I want to do the whole show with my eyes closed. It's really, really hard to open them.
It's funny that, isn't it? It is quite funny, because when you have your eyes closed, you sort of take yourself inside deeper. and you take the physical reality out, don't you? And yeah, I totally understand that perspective of really feeling very home inside.
And sometimes the energy is just so strong. It's like when you first wake up and you're like, I'm awake, I can't open my eyes yet.
Yes,
just give it a minute. It's happening. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I totally get it with the eyes.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, that's Louise. So Louise is my dog. So if I might need to go and get her because she's sort of looking at the door. So I think I'll go and grab her if that's okay. Good Lily. Good girl. Good girl. So Louise is coming to join us.
Yay. Hi, Louise.
She's quite funny. She's she likes to have a little look out the window. She can. So yes.
So thank you, everybody. Thank you, especially to you, Nicola, for being here with me today. It would be a very one-way conversation if I was here on my own. And thank you to everybody who's joined us as well, whether that is live with us in this now moment, or whether you're watching on the replay or on YouTube. So, what's been happening since we last spoke? You've moved, you've had a big haircut, which looks awesome.
Yeah, I've had loads of things happening, sort of big shifts, real big shifts. I was really drawn to have my hair cut. All of a sudden it started to fall out quite a bit, actually. So I think it was the physical body really wanting to get rid of it as well. And it was sort of right down here, and I was sort of tapping into sort of some guidance about it, and my guys were basically coming through saying, no, it's got to go. It's like held really old energy in it. So I always used to have it in a bob years ago, and so they were going short. Oh, right, okay. So then so it all came off. It was really funny because when I had it done, it was a real big sort of shock actually at first. Now I've got used to it, it's really easy to maintain, but at first I was like, I don't know, because the ego comes in, doesn't it? Like, my hair's gone. And I did actually, it was really quite funny, Denise, that I actually felt to myself, do you know, like Samson and Delilah, with Samson losing his power because of, will I be able to work? Will I be able to tap in? You can, you can. So I had that done, and so I've moved to Wadhurst, sort of East Sussex, just create YouTube channel, online courses at Started You, do some beautiful work with some in-person events with Sandra Jennings, called Blue Pool Network. So they're sort of really sort of starting to come into, sort of doing those on a monthly basis, but things are sort of will sort of come in. As long as we can still get together, those should be quite good. So I've been really busy just creating and connecting with beautiful souls. So been absolutely wonderful. And what's been happening with you? Because I know last time you spoke, you wasn't even in where you're at.
Yeah, so I've moved into a little house still in the same town in North Yorkshire. It's a little 1-bedroomed house with quite a long garden. Like, it's not a massive garden, but it's just been amazing to be in my own space and expand. Like, I was feeling really compressed where I was. So, I really feel like I've filled this house up instead of just being in a very small room. What else? It's just been huge. So much growth. I can't even remember. Like, I don't even know what I did last week. I don't even know. I know what I did today because I didn't really do very much today. But when I was in Glastonbury recently, and kind of always busy doing things, and then I bump into someone and they're like, so what have you done today? I'm like, today. What is
But don't you find that though, and through this sort of journey, is that every now moment is in the now moment, and unless you've got an appointment, say 7 o'clock or something for today, I don't know what the time is half the time. Unless it is a junction of meeting in physical, I don't connect with time anymore. It's the strangest thing.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I kind of, for a while, if the sun's in the sky, it'll give me an idea of what time it is. Doesn't happen that often, it's quite cloudy. But yeah, same, like time. And that's why I tend not to schedule these shows very far ahead as well. And suddenly I realize, oh, it's Monday. I don't have a guest yet this week. Who shall I invite? But everything is so much more in the flow.
Yeah, definitely.
And I've spent a lot of the last year really doing strong inner work, which I'm sure everybody's doing. But there's actually been some breakthroughs. I've been working with inflammation in my body for years and years and years. And certain things just of late, and this seems the perfect time for it because the energies are so strong. And this started around November last year. I remember in the lead up to the 12/12 gateway and to the solstice as well, it just felt like it was the ideal conditions to just be releasing as much as you can, just focusing inward to just shed as much as possible. And that really has continued all year.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that maybe next year I'll have a bit more time to do other things apart from that. But it's been a real focus, and amazing to be getting, to be seeing the rewards from that as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I totally understand from that perspective of that deep core wound stuff. All of that. It's like I always speak about it. It's like the refinement of the depth of everything that we do to enable us to really dig deeper. It's the same subjects, whether we go deeper into the deep core wound or whether we go higher into a level of understanding. It's the same. The simpler that you keep it, the better, actually, as well. Keep it at fear, anger, and sadness, and everything on top of it all will just sort of shift away with it. So if you can keep it really simple with identifying when it comes up, to actually say to ourselves, well, do you know what, actually, I see that I'm holding that, I'm feeling that right now, but not identify it as regards to own it, then I think that would sort of really sort of help people sort of understand that you can see it, but you don't take it for your own. And then that's easier to release, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And it is so much easier to release like new things as well. A lot of what it seems to be at the moment is deep stuff, and it feels like my body is becoming more crystalline. So therefore all the old programs, the distortions, the lack, the fear, all of that, it just has to go. And it really feels like it is. And I think the fight flight response, I realized last year that was still switched on, not majorly, but enough for there to be cortisol still coming into my body when it didn't need to. And although, like only on a very low level, but I could feel that was still going on, which I think is the cause of so much disease in the body. And inflammation is like, it's that thing beneath so many things, and so if we can resolve that, then the other things just kind of have to improve.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's keeping that energy flowing, and if you come up with all these little blocks that come up, or layers of distortion, then just deal with it, but also embrace the understanding of that's what we came here also to experience, is the emotions. And I think it's sort of, I remember in the parts of my journey of thinking, well, I've got to get past that, release it quick, rather than actually really embracing the experience of it, getting deep down and dirty with it, you know, really embracing it and sitting on the sofa with a box of tissues, chocolate, and a, you know, and watching a sad old movie, do it. And sometimes you need to do that to actually really feel into it, to decide, do you know what, I really don't want this anymore. And that's important, you know, for anyone listening, is that it's okay to feel these ways, but do we want to continue feeling that way? And if we don't, let's get rid of it. Let's just move it out of our field so that we can then invite more of that light and gifts in. You know, it is a process, and however we do it is going to be perfect for us as individuals. You just got to sort of tap into that understanding. It's all okay.
And the self-love too has just been, you know, because a lot of the time when I've had pain in my body, you just want to get the pain out. Whereas I started breathing the pain into my heart. And this was huge. I realized this in summertime. So I was trying to release some stuff from my belly. I can't remember if it was solar plexus or sacral. And very aware of how contracted my belly was. And I think this is very common, especially amongst women, because, you know, we're told we have to have a flat stomach and blah, blah, blah. So, you know, you keep everything held in. So as I was breathing in and trying to release on my out breath, so when you breathe in, that's when your belly's out. And when you breathe out, that's when you pull your belly in. So I was trying to release as my belly was being pulled in, and very aware that there was contraction there. So I started doing something differently and actually releasing on the in-breath when my belly was out, because my belly was much more relaxed at that time. So it felt easier for the energy to go in. So kind of releasing, but then also, you know, still breathing it out with the out breath, but actually stop hanging on to it on the in-breath. Instead of just breathing light into that area on the in-breath, where I was breathing light in, but I was hanging on to the light, and I was hanging on to all the stuff as well without even realizing I was doing it.
Yeah, I think the sort of the breath is so important. You know, it's something that's, you know, it's so it's imperative for us to be aware of, is that the breath isn't just breathing in oxygen and out carbon dioxide. We can use these as tools to help the process of release. So, you know, and try and get to a place of being intuitive. If it starts off with a journey of, you know, doing some breath work, sort of understanding, and maybe read a book or watch a few videos on it, you know, start off with that if you wish. But the what we try to sort of, you know, from my perspective anyway, what we, as in me and my guidance, is make it intuitive, that the physical body knows exactly how to deal with it all. And when you can let the physical body just take charge of dispersing it, like you say, let go of the body, of really gripping on with it, you know, with your tummy, and just let the body do exactly what it's designed to do. But we just try to control it, because that's the mind, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've been doing Wim Hof's breathing for the last, I don't know when I started. It's maybe about 40 days every day. I've been doing hot and cold showers, so putting it cold at the end. So lymphatics and fascia, I've realized that that's been a part of this whole process that hasn't really been worked on so much in my body. And fascia is fascinating. There's so little known about the fascia in the body, and it's how the light gets through, it's how energy is passed through, or it's at least one of the channels for it. And so I did a fascia release course, and I'm just going to plug it here because it was amazing. And we don't really stretch the fascia, we stretch the muscles, but not the fascia. And often it's the fascia that we need to be stretching. So there's a fascia miracle course by what's it called? Daily Om. But if you just put Erin Leitz, ERIN, and her surname is LEITZ into YouTube, and her fascia stuff comes up, and it's really, I've been blown away. Like sometimes I could only do about 3 fascia stretches, because when you stretch your fascia in one place, you stretch your fascia in the whole of your body because it's connective tissue. So you can feel, you might be doing it on your shoulders, but your ankles are feeling, more, there might be a little crack that comes from your ankle.
Oh, I'm going to check that
And
out.
there's not many people doing fascia stretching that I can find. Every time I look, I always come up with the same lady, and she's awesome.
So is that similar to sort of doing something like yin yoga where you hold the poses? Is it not like that at all?
No, it's not really like anything that we've done before.
Okay.
So there has to be like resistance. Let me see if I can remember what she says. So for example, there has to be some kind of resistance. So you might be resisting your legs into the floor while you're doing the stretch. So there's an extra resistance in there. So there needs to be movement, but resistance as well. Otherwise, you're just stretching the muscle. It's fascinating. And the connective tissue is like, if all your muscles and your skin and everything and all your organs went and you were just left with the fascia, it would be you, and it would be, your outline, and all your organs are covered in fascia. And it's really not very well known. It was just thrown away in postmortems. It was just like, oh yeah, that's just those silvery threads, not really any attention given to it. So it's quite new, all the fascia information.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I'll check that out. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I myself, I love sort of the yin yoga aspect of yoga, and again, intuitive sort of body movements. So all of a sudden I might sort of, oh gosh, I need to dance or jump around a bit, or sort of an evening I like to sort of stretch before I go to bed, and sort of in the morning. So I'll just have a little bit of a wiggle it out. It just sort of it just helps you sort of move that energy out of you in the morning, as you wake up. And I remember sort of as a child, you used to say, oh, you got to stretch when you get up in the morning, you stretch up, and but then when we get busy, we just sort of get up out of bed, go and go to the bathroom, do this, do that, and get on with our day. But it's important to take care of the physical body. It's the only one we've got in this incarnation anyway.
Absolutely.
So with the ascension process as well, of really sort of tuning into the physicality is important to embrace it and to take care of it. Has your eating habits changed, Denise?
Yes. I got a juicer. I haven't really been doing many juices recently. I kind of tune into which supplements can be good for me. There's a supplement that I've been taking that is humic acid and fulvic acid, and it's got heaps of minerals in as well. The company has just gone out of business, but there are other alternatives to this one. That has been incredible. Like, it gives your body a bit of a detox. I also got a little smoothie maker as well, so I've been making smoothies and lots of supplements going into the smoothies too. I've lost quite a bit of weight in the last couple of months. I've not intentionally, but I've lost quite a bit of weight. I don't have scales. I've got no idea how much, but I can just I can tell.
Yeah, I can tell actually. When I sort of first looked at you, I thought, you're different. I thought the hair's different. Something's different about you. But yeah, no, you have, definitely. It's noticeable actually.
And my hair was cut last week. It was supposed to be to there. And I'd already had I'd had like 3 inches cut off the last time. So not as short as yours, but unintentionally, I've had a heap of hair cut off. So I've given myself a golden opportunity for acceptance and forgiveness with the hairdresser. We're 1.5 inches shorter than I agreed to. I'm not quite there yet, but I totally get it about the energy of hair, because it holds everything that's happened. So it does kind of feel lighter.
Yeah, Yeah, I must say actually that the sort of the length of it, and I'm sort of, because I love to sort of like scrape it back or do sort of different things with it, and on sort of some days that you don't wash it, and when it's short, you can't necessarily sort of always do that. But I feel that it's going to grow back again. I do feel that it's going to grow back longer again, but it just felt that I really just needed to it was quite funny. I was in the hairdressers, and I was having it washed, and the hairdresser said, well, how short do you want to go? And I used my thumb as a guide, and my higher self was kept on saying above, so I used my thumb as a point of the neck, below the neck, above the neck, and they're going above the neck, and I'm like, ooh, okay. And then I made the decision, right, cut it. So he did, and I went, okay. But it's all good, it's hair, it grows back.
Exactly.
And it's absolutely fine, it's but it does sort of hold a different energy. It does feel different. It feels almost like sort of coming into sort of out of November into December, moving into new year, it feels like a massive sort of shifts of new beginnings and endings, and it's almost like I needed to cut it to finish off my sort of my personal life of moving out of a relationship, of letting go of that. It was sort of quite symbolic actually, of letting it go, with my divorce sort of nearly coming to an end, and so it's really sort of lots of massive big shifting endings. Have you been finding that yourself?
Yeah, lots of things kind of just feeling very different, and certain things coming to a close.
Yeah, I think it's sort of like the energy of the universe sort of bringing that forward into bringing in the new, and things are shifting in all aspects of our lives, sort of energetically and physically, and from a human perspective. But we need to embrace that new coming in for the new year, and I'm really excited about next year, especially the number 22. Crikey, it's going to be a powerful year for a lot of us to start really stepping up and doing what we came here to do. I feel next year, I'm very excited for next year actually. That soul level of the evolution and expansion of our work.
Yes.
So yeah, terribly exciting.
And it feels like we have to let go of everything, have no attachment to anything.
Yeah.
I can't be attached to this human here, Denise. I can't be attached to anything. You have to be prepared to let everything go. And some things, you're like, yeah, I'm ready for that. And other things you can feel that you're like, no.
Yeah, it is. It's very strange when you're moving through this sort of process of really getting to know who you are, rather than seeing yourself as that person in separation, as the identification of Nicola.
Yeah,
it's moving out of that helps the process of letting go of everything. So when I left 2 years ago from the family home, I literally left everything behind. Louise came with me, and then everything that sort of I created is what I've created in that time span. But it's an interesting subject. I actually listened to a video which was what's the guy, I'll think of his name in a minute, but he was saying that he literally left everything, all his clothes went, he had just literally all that he wore, and he even left his shoes behind. He gave it all away. Was it oh gosh, can see him. It'll come to me. But he literally did. And he was a multimillionaire, gave it all away, and then left it, went on his like deeper spiritual journey, and then again rose up again. So if you can let go of something, amazing. It's, you know, it's without it's non-attachment to everything.
Yeah. And I found that my working practices have changed a lot. Like the way that I'm working on my own body has changed. The way that I work with other people has changed.
Yeah.
You finding the same?
Yeah. It's a similar sort of concept, but it's different. It's the same but different.
Yeah.
Yeah, going a lot deeper, sort of channeling a lot deeper when I go into people's energy fields, and understanding a lot more as well as I practice, which is great. Because sometimes when you do things and you channel and you're like, what's that all about? But the refining my understanding has definitely come on board.
Do you ever trance channel?
I do and I don't. It's not the norm, put it that way. The deeper, so if I work, so the way that I work, I'd work channeling my multidimensionality. So I tap into my multidimensional aspects and then work through light language energetically, and then I connect with people that I'm working with, and I normally do that online. And then the aspects come in sort of like all over the place. So you sort of working all at the same time. But to channel a trance channel, like a trance work is something that I feel is more outside of myself. So I don't tend to trance channel unless I get something that will come through, which is more of an opened-eyed transmission that comes in. And then as I stare, I look at myself and I see like almost like a superficial layer that comes in front of my face, but that doesn't happen as much as the pure channeling state, which is less intense to hold.
So you're, and for those listening, if you're kind of not quite aware of what we're saying, to me it's like when I do light language, I'm very present. I can hear what's going on. I may or may not remember it.
Yeah.
And I'm in the back room, but I'm still very kind of present here. Now, there was one time when I did some group work that I started, after doing light language, I started speaking English. And I was like, oh, this is new. But not, obviously I speak English. But it felt different, me speaking. It was like me speaking light language, but I was speaking English. And I knew that there was something different coming in there. And I'm getting a bit of a nudge to maybe practice doing this a little, like just stick the video on, start with light language and just see what kind of happens. And I still feel, because it always feels like it's me when I'm doing light language. It's, as you say, it's my different multidimensional aspects. And this feels slightly, not really any different in terms of it's still me that's coming through. It's still my multidimensional aspects, but I'll just maybe be not quite in the back room, but behind me,
Yeah.
And then, just may not remember it so much.
Yeah. It's that sort of more present, isn't it? That sort of that in my mind is that it's outside of me, meaning that it doesn't feel so I don't know, it doesn't feel me so present and connected to it. So I'm not sure the process of how that all sort of works, because I don't get it very often, like you said, from that point of view. But and as we're all one anyway, actually we are moving, that we are sort of connecting to ourselves anyway, ultimately. But I think what's important is for everybody to sort of realize also is that intention setting is really important when you're going into that type of work, because there is that duality of experience that if you're just throwing it out there, I'm just going to connect to everything, it means everything that's available across all of the polarized opposition, so I always sort of speak about I'm moving into the light, expansion of the soul, always for the greater good, So I think it's important, if people started on that journey, is to really sort of look at the intentions that you set. So like you did today with, you know, setting intentions, connecting with heart, that you're not going to get that sort of sense of interference, and then that then settles the ego mind in then actually understanding that you can really be more free to receive in. And that's speaking from experience. You know, in the beginning of my journey, when I really didn't know what I was doing, absolutely, I probably would have invited a few little pickles along the way, I would call them. But that's all experience. Because once you actually experience that come through, then you then understand what you don't want.
Yeah.
So if you do receive something like that and something comes in, it's not that you've done anything bad or it's wrong, it's an experience. And so from your perspective, then you can then move forward and say, okay, so that's not, I don't feel that that's what I want to present again. And therefore, I'm going to move forward into really setting my intentions and getting a little bit of a slap wrist from the universe saying, well, do you want to go this way? Make sure that you ask for this way. So I think that's important also for people to be aware of when you're on that first sort of connecting with multidimensionality, is that you're, as well as moving into the light, we're also holding density, darkness. And that's what a lot of people don't necessarily really want to look at, is, you know, the past incarnations of, you know, experiencing the dark aspects of ourselves. But there's no wrong or right within it. It just is. It's the experience of that density. It's the evolution of the soul. To receive and be the light, you need to understand what density is.
And heart space, you mentioned in that as well. I feel to reiterate that too, that if we're in the space of love, then it's only loving whatever that can be present within that field. And sometimes if we're a bit nervous, I used to feel this when I first was doing card readings. If I started to get a bit nervous, it's like you close off the channel. So I would feel like I'd slip down from my heart into my solar plexus. So if I felt that, I would just breathe into my heart, come back to my heart space, and then, you know, carry on from that place. So I feel that it's quite similar to that.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, something. Go on.
Sorry. And it's sometimes that when we're starting on that sort of journey or feeling that sense of fear, it's the identification with that emotion, with that vibration. It doesn't mean to say that the fear is there to fear going into a pure channeling state. It's showing you that there's something that needs just to be shifted. So always push through those emotions that may be a distorted lens of what's coming through, because if the light's shining in and you're coming from heart, you're moving into that space of expansion of the soul and you're setting your intentions, it's coming through the heart, but you still got that sense of fear, it's okay, but just keep pushing through the fear. And ultimately what happens is the fear dissolves within you, the distortion is released, and then that's how the evolution happens. But if you concentrate and identify with the fear, it's going to stop you from expanding. You're just going to just sit in the fear as a block. So just keep pushing it through. It's like light codes. Sometimes people are like, oh, I don't like that. But it's okay, because it's shining the light on there for you to release it. So push through the fear. If there's something that triggers you with a bit of fear, then just sit with it for a bit. Use your discernment, obviously, but just have a look at it and go like, do you know what, actually, okay, this time actually I listened to that and it feels a lot more comfortable. But it's clearing away those deep core wounds, which you were speaking about in the beginning. And then with that, you evolve and start to open up more and more and more to hold more light.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Something else that's different for me that's been starting to come through, and I can just feel it starting to get activated now. So my hands always used to get hot from first learning Reiki 20 whatever years ago. My hands would get hot, But last year it went to a whole different level. It was like this white heat. You know, when was it magnesium in the chemistry lab that you used to like set on fire and it would be like, that's what it feels like.
Oh
And I
wow.
can't remember if it happened first, but it happened one time when I was soaking my hands in one of my crystal singing bowls with spring water in it. And I was like, oh my goodness, what's going on? And it was just in one or two fingers to start with. And I thought, I wonder what happens if I put it on my other hand. Does it spread? Yeah, it does. And what it feels like, what I've been shown an image of, it's like I've got extended crystalline fingers that are coming on board. And
Nice.
it's like you can laser with these like crystalline fingers. And for a long time, it's felt like, you know, if your hand's on the body, that you go in, your hand isn't just on the body, the energy of your hand is going, you know, deep
Yeah.
inside. But this feels really different, and it doesn't happen very often. But it has happened in a couple of sessions as well. So
Nice. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
I feel that so some information's coming through for you with this, is that it's a multidimensional aspect, which has a sense of a body that has long fingers. And so sometimes when we connect to our multidimensional aspect, they show themselves. So you might feel like all of a sudden like really tall, or you might feel sort of like really big, or sometimes if I work, I just work with 3 fingers. So the being that comes through has that sort of physical form. So when you sort of relate to the multidimensionality, it comes through that you can relate with the physical form of that multidimensional being. So when you get integrations come through, then you'll have that absolute connection with these really long fingers. I remember one particular healing I did, I felt like I was a tree. It was really strange. My arms weren't sort of, you know, from that long, they went this long, and I was, hang on a minute, I just feel like I'm a little bit of a tree right now. It was the strangest thing. And sort of some of the aspects that come in, you sort of have to look at it, and your ego goes, what's going on? What's going on? This is a bit strange, but then it normalizes. But it's just to embrace and be open to whatever moves through to receive it, and it's a beautiful experience when it happens. It's quite fun as well, for, you know, from my ego perspective. I'm like, whoa, what's this?
And who knows what things are coming online, because I really do feel
Yeah.
our physical form is changing, whether or not, or at least the energy is changing, whether or not this, you know, whether or not I'll grow crystalline fingers, I don't know. I might well not do. However, energetically, I feel that they're there. And I like what you say there about, you know, about a multi-dimensional aspect of me having those fingers. That resonates really well.
Yeah. The before we came on the call, I was doing a live on my YouTube channel, and that particular subject was talking about the esoteric realm of shifting your consciousness from the physical realm into another dimension. And so what you're picking up on there, indeed, isn't it, is that you're picking up, just like, say, like a you know, sort of using a wand could become an esoteric wand, is that you're picking up in another dimension that the fingers are like this long. But that's terribly exciting when that happens, because it just sort of, it just gives you an understanding again of that you're more than physical, which is beautiful. And it's like, whoa, what's next then? What else is there? What else is going to come up online? And that's exciting. I just find it really, everything's just so exciting to me as it sort of morphs and changes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we talked before we came on about us doing some light language, and I know we did some at the beginning, but it feels like there's more to come. And my feeling on this is that this is to kind of help us integrate these, you know, special energies that are coming in at the moment. Let's call them special. These very, very strong energies that are coming in. I feel it's to do with that. I'm also just being nudged that there's some throat stuff going to come through with this as well. It really does feel the time to, you know, totally be expanding our throats and standing up and speaking for things, about things in ways that aren't necessarily comfortable to us. You know, a lot of people for the last few years, you know, you and I probably wouldn't have chosen necessarily to be doing these things that we're doing and doing them so publicly, but we knew that that was part of what we've come here for. So you kind of, you know, the human might not be entirely comfortable with it, but we know that it's right for us. And I think a lot of people are getting that nudge of speaking our truth, you know, and not necessarily in a combat situation, but just not being afraid to say what we believe in.
Yeah.
And standing up for that, because I think as more and more people awaken, they may be feeling that too. So they'll actually be quite relieved that you've shared that too.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think you know, sort of the suppression of expression in that sort of sense of communication, for many of us has, you know, through many lifetimes has occurred. And that's where that energy, that deep core wound sits within most of us, actually, not to express exactly how we feel, you know, in different relationships, in different situations, that we might just hold back on how we're actually feeling. And that's where the throat chakra gets blocked. So as you know, these energies that are coming in that are really bringing us online, for that throat chakra to come online, which might actually activate your light language expression. Once those blocks are released within you, then you can then really start turning on who you are. And with that rising of that vibration, it helps you then speak your truth, because you can only speak truth once you're actually in a higher level of consciousness. You know, if somebody says something and then I'm like, oh, I can't lie. I physically cannot lie anymore. I might sort of hold back with speaking my truth if I really felt that it would actually hurt someone's you know, feelings. But actually ultimately I'm sort of really nudged into just speaking the truth. And if somebody asks me a question, then I will reply, you know, and we don't necessarily have to force our opinions on people. But at the same time, it's honoring the vibration of truth. And it's important to stand up and to be heard and to be seen. I think for many light workers, it's been suppressed for lifetime and lifetime of not wanting to speak up because of, you know, the fear of being beheaded or burnt at the stake, as we could see ourselves as, you know, from many lifetimes we would have been. But being seen is one of the most sort of prevalent thing that I see in people that I work with, is to stand up and forward and actually ignite their gifts inside of themselves. And that's that fear, that suppressive fear that stops us from doing it. But, you know, if we can maybe bring through an intention with codes to help the expression to bring forward, to be seen, I think that from my perspective, that's what I shall sort of bring forward today for people if they want to connect with those codes.
And just to bring the heart back into that as well, it feels purity. That a lot of this is, it's like speaking your truth but from your heart. So it's not a blunt, like, you know, there's so much to the throat chakra. It's not just about speaking your truth, it's about speaking your truth with love and knowing when to say something and when not to say something. I think those of us who traditionally have held back, we think, oh, we have to always say everything, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's about listening, and sometimes it's about actually, no, it's not right to say that right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before we go in, I wanted to ask you about creative expression as well, and light codes and written codes. So this has been coming through a little bit for you. Yes,
terribly exciting. Honestly, it's something that I've been sort of asking for ages and ages and ages. And I don't know if you know of Rosa Maria Martinez. She does like codes on Facebook, and beautiful soul. And a good friend with Rosa, and I kept on saying to her, well, why is it that, you know, I can do all of this sort of multidimensional healing, integrations and multidimensionality and all of that sort of stuff, and write codes here, fire codes coming in, template adjustments and all that, but I can't get a pen and a paper together and put a code on there. Why is it? And it was really interesting that I had a past life that came forward when I was having this conversation with her. And I had this sort of a stick as I was writing, slap across my hand as I tapped into a past life, with the suppression of not being able to express through that medium. And so I've sort of worked through all of this, keep asking, so when's this going to come online? Then come on, guys, you know, and working through releasing all of these sort of distortions. And now it's starting to really come together. And I was saying to you, Denise, as well, is that I went and bought some pens and paper and some bits and pieces, and I can't wait for them to be delivered. And I'm to just get out there and just start doing my little yeah, so exciting. And all of your beautiful work that holds those key codes and activations are amazing.
Thank you.
So yeah, I'm excited for that part, for that new creativity to flow through me, which is now ready to be expressed. Beautiful. So yeah, so it all takes time and allowance and trusting that it will come in when it's ready to come in.
Yeah. And for me, just to mention, when I first moved to Australia and I was doing sessions on people, that's when I started doing written light language. And if ever I tried to write it on a piece of paper, it just didn't look like anything, because it wouldn't really. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't until 2017, I think, that I actually started doing the written code. So they were just drawn in the air for 12 years. Mm. So yeah, it happens when the time when the time is right.
Yeah, it's like anything, isn't it? It's if you try and force something because you might see somebody else doing something, it's coming from a vibration of, you know, sort of competitiveness or, you know, sort of resentfulness or expectation, and it's all human stuff. But if we just allow and trust that it will be when it will be, and, you know, it will come online. So don't worry about comparing yourself to anybody else, or she's doing this and I'm not doing that, and I don't know about this. And it's okay. Yeah. It's just settle into it. The more you can relax into it, the more that you allow it to be when it's ready. So it's that patience. It will come in at a quickened pace rather than putting distortions in front of yourself. So it's like relax into it. It really is. It is relaxing into it. Yeah. That will help that process for it all to come forward, which yeah, it's terribly exciting. I
look forward to seeing them. Feel free to send any to me if you want to. No, you don't have to, but
yeah, I will.
If you want to, feel free.
Yeah, I will do. Yeah, it's sort of just been ignited. I did an in-person event with Blue Paul, so with Sandra Jennings and Rosa Maria in Kent in England, and we're going to be doing those on a monthly basis. But this particular one, which we did at the weekend on the Saturday, was all about the bringing forward light codes. So Rosa did a bit of a talk on the on light codes, and then we sort of did some sort of things in the afternoon to sort of practice sort of expressing, and it just started started around about that sort of, the day or so before, and I was just scribbling. It was just like scribbles, but I couldn't stop laughing. It was the weirdest thing. I just got my pen out. I thought, well, I've got this thing on Saturday, I better sort of have a go, because I was like this, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, I couldn't stop laughing. It was the weirdest thing, and I was, okay, that's good. I'm just going to observe my situation. It's coming. I mean, even the face was putting some face.
The tongue out as well.
Yeah. And it really sort of like sparked something in Redmond for the day. then it was really strange. Everybody was sort of bringing up their expressions, and then I could literally sort of tap in, read what it was saying, and giving advice and guidance to the people. And I was like, how did I do that? I didn't know I could do that, but it was ready. I was ready for it, and it then starts to come forward. So all in good time, all in good time. Yeah, I was really quite impressed with myself. Yeah, really sort of proud. I was like, oh, you've done it, Nicola, you've done it. So
Yay. Okay, would you like to begin?
Okay, done. Okay, let me just sort of settle in then. So everything that we're going to bring forward is going to be for the greater good and the expansion of the soul, moving towards the light, and sort of just trusting that process and allowing and to receive the codes for you. Now, kia mausioma kukumbukukam vasikia vakambokukambo kugyaka. Ela kiamba kukambo kurasi kian tuku roshakia risi antakia makurasha. Kia mokrosho kiumpukura shakianto tu restitana. Ela kia Kroshant arisiamo krosho kyoto ontukurosha kiamakura sikiambare shana kiantana mokrasha gianta. So it's the expansion of the expression of the soul. Alima krasikiamo krosha makiampo, alakiam vako krosha kiampukurosha kianamakiatan, elakiam pukurosha kiantukupurosha makiaton, ola lakiana krasikiana marisipapumu krosha bana makiatan arisikianata. Där bär sjuvoro shamakiet, eller makra sikima koro shanikiet, eller mare sikima koro bishanamikieta nashatikiana kiatala. Där bargan mukrisi and makriata nashata. So it is all about the expression and bringing it forward, an allowance and trusting that is all meant to be what is meant to be. So look deep inside of yourself, feel that sense of connection, and allow yourself to embody it, become it, and let it be. Yeah, that is yana kiata nasha, kiata mamish. Ah,
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
So just bringing our awareness to our throat. And I'm actually seeing emerald green energy going into the throat area.
Nice.
And silver blue as well. Kia rund orene kia per light o nibarat o kora tatatana ketatat o ikitist. Hor nat ot orene kiet o yest. Hal eper no kut tatatata. Eret tatamakort o ista. O leren wa paratikete patat o ar de kaant ot ust ar de ke le. Hol laren niker de kontaret ki. Hole kier no pat et iora. Staren terne kia lod. Uli de parna kit ta anno kulle. Hol arna kia parna kit it odotukoton. Mama lea turna itotona. Huli kia ranai et oista. Kole ranai et erna kia paut ui tutatata. Erni kornai et ornt ui kodon makata. Walu kornait or tikite artikute kortikite paranakite konta artikite kornakite korni hortu lakite doren vale hera no kortiki or stoia stor lai to no koit ut aranekia to na.
Oh, beautiful.
So just breathing out from the throat as well. So taking some deep breaths in and releasing with your out breath. Letting go of anything that your body is ready to let go of in relation to this. Any old fears. And just allowing that expansion. Any old emotions.
Beautiful. Lovely. Thank you for that. Yeah. It's like,
Is there anything else that you'd like to make sure that you say before we complete?
No, just thank you so much for joining us today. It was an absolute pleasure to come and join you, and we need to make sure that it's not in another 18 months time and that we do something sooner. So yeah, just sort of connect with me if you feel sort of drawn to my energy, if I'm in resonance with you, and there's always going to be a reason to bring those synchronicities in. And there's all the links that are on Denise's post, so just sort of connect with me if you feel that you need to, but just know that everything that you do is always perfect. No matter what choice you make, it's always going to be the right decision. Okay, and just know that it's all about empowerment. So help yourself through the process, be guided, but don't give your power away. Just really come into that sense of sovereignty of your own light. So that's important to say also with the forward journeying, is that, you know, be empowered with your own journey. And yeah, that's it really. I think it's just been a beautiful conversation today, so thank you again for inviting me, and thanking the universe and all of our guides and higher selves and multi-dimensional aspects for also coming in and holding that space for everybody else as well. So yes.
Thank you, that's awesome. Do you want to just say your website in case I forget to put it on YouTube? I will repost your bio onto this as well, but yeah, just
so I have my own personal website, which is www.reikirussell.co.uk, which is easy to remember. So I'm sort of Reiki based, so it's energetic work that I do. And also have starcgu.com holds all my online courses, and the Blue Pool Network actually hasn't got a website at the moment, but we do have a Facebook page which is called obviously Blue Pool Network, and my YouTube is Remembrance into the Light with Nicola Russell. So yeah, so that's me.
Yay, thank you. And if anyone, my YouTube as well is Inner Peace with Denise.
I need to do that. What I can do, Denise, is interlink yours onto mine so that we could.
I'll do the same.
Yeah. So what's it called again? Sorry.
Inner Peace with Denise.
Inner Peace.
Bit cheesy, but it rhymes and you can remember it.
That's what I said about Remembrance into the Light. I said, really? And they said yes. And I was like, oh, it is a bit twee. But no, I'll link yours up onto my YouTube, so then people then sort of see because I think it's really important that we come together now. We've sort of grown in our own strengths, but connectivity, we need that strong connectivity. So
yeah, definitely. And it would be nice to collaborate soon.
Yeah, definitely. Wonderful. Thank you so much, everybody. Okay.
Thank you, Nicola, and thank you everybody that's been with us. It's been an awesome chat, and thank you to everyone who's watching on YouTube, and we will see you soon. Bye for now. Love, love, love.